This is an exclusive conversation with Germany's envoy to India, Ambassador Philipp Ackerman. Ambassador Sir, many thanks for joining us here on World Today on the India Today platform. The Nord Stream 1 and 2 gas pipelines damaged is a serious threat, not just to energy security, but to the environment for all the countries around the Baltic. Your first reaction on what Germany's stand is, because now speculations aside, four leaks have been found. So they're putting to rest the fact that this could really be an accident and are mostly focused on deliberate attack.
That's true. First of all, Geeta, thank you for having me. And let me say that we are all very concerned about the situation in the Baltic Sea. 4 leaks, as you rightly said. And I think you are completely right when you say an accident is excluded by now. We are talking about a deliberate act. It is man-made, and we have to look into an investigation whether we can find the source of this attack.
Well, sir, the larger perspective. Now, in terms of energy security, winters are approaching. For Europe, gas is essential to stay warm. Is this really going to be a very cold winter if Nord Stream 1 is not prepared on time?
So, Geeta, let me say the only good or positive thing about this very, very concerning situation is that it has no impact whatsoever on the energy delivery or provision in Germany and Europe. Why? Because the Russian side has stopped any delivery through Nord Stream 1, and Nord Stream 2 was never operational. So basically, although both pipelines were full of gas, none of this gas arrived in Germany or elsewhere. So I think what we can say is that we have the German industries, the German government has made it possible to change our energy mix when it comes to gas over the last couple of months. And we have developed from a dependency of, let's say, 45-ish% of gas from Russia to almost zero now, a couple of percent maybe. That's a huge act and a huge effort from the German side, but it means that the price, and then you are rightly referring to the volatility of the price also, the price might be high, but there is enough gas for everybody in Germany.
Well, it does come at a time when Germany has secured its gas demands for the approaching winters. But the fact that it was zero up until now was only because you had not hit winters. Come winters, it's not just Germany. Through Germany, we're looking at the whole of Europe. Many European nations, sir, could be impacted. And like you said, volatility in prices is something that is not just being felt across Europe, but also, particularly in Germany, protests and people raising their voices. Do you think that could really get worse if things do not stabilize in the region when it comes to Russia and Ukraine?
Look, I think every European government has to look into the fact how to assist people with these, volatile gas prices that go up and down. And as you might know, the German government has decided a huge package of 200 billion euros to support and assist the households in their plight of rising costs. So I think it's the government's duties to look after that. But we have to say at the same time, we see clearly a plan from the Russian side to disturb the energy provision of Europe. And that's very concerning also. So it's deliberate again, and we are very worried about that.
When it comes to the countries, Sweden and Denmark have already started investigations. Is there going to be a joint cooperation with Germany included in the investigations?
No doubt, Geeta, no doubt. German institutions and German sources will be included in this. I think Finland is now also part, with the 4th league being between Finland and Sweden. They'll also be a part of this investigation. And I see a joint investigation. European countries will get together and try to figure out what happened.
Well, again, we've seen a lot of finger pointing and accusations being hurled, and certain quarters within Russia looking at America. Certain reports talking about America, but that certainly has been rubbished and rejected by the State Department, and they are also looking at cooperation and coordination. So the bigger question: should there be any finding of targeted attacks? Would Europe consider this an attack on Europe or on NATO?
We certainly would consider that an attack on NATO, but you have to see that the property of the pipeline is not with NATO countries. So it is basically a Russian pipeline. And therefore, it is not considered a serious threat to European security, although I must say that one could argue it is. But if there is a result that points at state sponsorship of this would have serious consequences also in a way.
And before I let you go, one cannot really not notice the environmental damages that this could really cause. Methane gas now in the atmosphere around the Baltic is certainly going to be a cause of worry. How are the countries, how is Germany looking at it? And how are your allies and partners in Europe looking at the environmental damage?
So I think that one can say that the environment is maybe directly not so much impacted, but what is impacted is exactly what you say, Geeta, the ozone layer. And methane gas is very, very harmful to the ozone layer and is very bad for climate. So I'm very worried about the higher effects, if I may say, of these leaks, and I hope that we will be able to close the leaks soon, so that gas will not come out of it anymore.
Well, as a senior diplomat, you've spoken on behalf of your country, but as the German ambassador to India, my final question to you, Ambassador Ackerman, the fact that the international community is also monitoring the situation in the Baltics. What are your expectations from the international community, particularly from India, when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine war, or for that matter, the situation that arises right now, which could be a serious threat to energy security, even if Europe right now is saying that they're not dependent on this Russian gas pipeline for gas through the winters?
So, Geeta, I think I would like to wait for the investigation before coming to conclusions. I think we have to look into what happened and then draw our conclusions. But what I can say now is today is a very important day in a way, because the Russian president will annex the 4 regions in Ukraine, which is a outrageous and absolutely unheard of, and again, a blatant violation of international law. And I think there the international community must gather behind the Secretary General of the United Nations, who has said yesterday that this is has no legitimate basis. These referendums are sham from the very beginning, and I think we should call them like this. It is not a situation we can Russia let go with. Therefore, I think what we expect from the international community is to say these referendums will not be recognized by anybody.
On that note, Ambassador Philipp Ackerman, many thanks for joining us here on India Today on Spotlight this weekend.